Alright, so I had this funny thing happen yesterday where I was leaving the bank and I heard a ticking sound, thinking it was, you know, lifter tick. And long story short, when I got home, checked the oil, it was very, very minimal on the dipstick. Only reason I never put one and one together was because I still had full, or I don't want to say full, but I still had good oil pressure. So I was literally like 5 minutes from my house. So I came home, shut it off, checked the oil, and that's where we were with that. Now, you know, like I said, parked it immediately and just let it sit overnight. So I'm about to run out to the store, start up the Lexus and get that running for like the first time in probably 2 months, I want to say. Also, which is why I grabbed this. This tire over here keeps losing pressure. You can kind of see, maybe not. Yeah, there you go. It's kind of getting flat. All three others are staying good. So I gotta air this up. Gonna take that to go get some oil. And also, today will be the day we finally paint this tailgate to get as close as we can to matching the truck. Okay, so got this guy off. Now, also when I go out to the store to get some oil, I'm gonna get some stuff to sand this down and scuff it up. And I might need some more masking tape. I might have some, I'll have to check in a minute. But I wanna leave this Chevrolet badge silver. So I'm gonna mask that off as best I can, tuck it in behind it, and then pretty much sand everything else down. Remove the bed liner on this side, just so I can get the top half of it and do it red. I have the red over here. And this is the GM Victory Red or Chevy Victory Red, which should be the same red as my truck over there. So I know, being, you know, 30 years of weather damage and everything, it's not gonna be perfect, but I mean, worst case scenario, it'll be better than the silver that's already on there, you know? But first and foremost, let's get this started. Okay, let's see what happens. Ah, shit. Turns out you need keys for that. Okay, let's try this again. I just didn't have a good connection on the battery. I honestly can't remember if I mentioned this in another video or not, but under here, I don't want to unwrap it because it's kind of protecting it from the rain and everything, but under here is my R154 for the manual swap for the IS. I'm gonna let it idle to charge up a little bit. Gonna go ahead and slap these bad puppies in there and start her up. Lucas always takes a while, so once I get this comfortable, I'm gonna just leave it in here for a few minutes. Just want the weight of it to not flip out. Okay, everything's topped off, ready to go here. Oil level looks great, and I'm just gonna keep an eye on it, obviously, and probably want to get to work on Monday, put it up on the lift and track down where it's actually leaking. I mounted this back up just so it's easier to take all these bolts out. I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, remove that bed liner, flip it back over, start sanding it, and then find out what I'm doing with painting. Get these T40s out, and then I think they're the only Torx on this. The rest should just be Phillips head. Get these out, that's one, two, So I'm just gonna go around, loosen all these up, and then grab them out by hand. Make it a little bit quicker, you know? A little different. That's one thing I really like about this bed liner. It's like super, super simple instead of that spray and stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and snatch all these out, pull this, and we'll just set this off to the side. Come back to it later. Yikes. Yeah, we're not gonna be touching this because that covers it. So I'm not too worried about that, but I do wanna get this underside. Another thing I did was just remove that little handle, bezel, trim, whatever you wanna call it. Here's pretty much where all the boring stuff starts. So I probably won't record this. I might just come back and show, you know, each layer or each coat that I do. But let's make sure. I think this is like 320 grit. So let's see if we can notice a difference at all. Oh yeah, that's scuffing up nice. I also just wanted to make a really quick point that because this is, you know, kind of a beat up tailgate and a project truck, I'm not gonna spend hours of sanding or hours of prep or, you know, body filler to touch up like all the little imperfections and stuff like that. It's just one of those things where from a distance, I want it to kind of match the truck. You know, maybe be a 50, maybe 20 footer. You know, that's all just saying that right now until I do and will eventually get a new tailgate. So this is just one of those things for fun and just test it out, you know. Got everything a little scuffed up, taped off the badging, and then taped off the handle because obviously I want that to stay black. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this back off, lay it over there to paint it, and start blasting. Got some primer on this thing. It's looking a little bit smoother all the way around. You can't see as many dents and dings, which is pretty rad. I think that'll be enough for the primer, and then I'll start hitting it with red here in a few minutes. First coat of red. I'm also gonna make a note, we're cranking the torsion bars. All right, so I got my clear coat layer on. I might throw one more on, but this is looking pretty good. I know it's getting darker out, so it's looking kind of different, I guess. The lighting's not hitting it how I want. There's a little bit of overspray, but I'm gonna take care of that at a different time just because it's getting kind of dark. And I might go ahead and put one more clear coat on, at least put the bed liner back on it and mount it to the truck. I don't think I'm gonna take it anywhere tonight, just to save it from all the wind and debris and stuff like that. So I can at least get it mounted up and see how close it is to the paint. I wanted to let it sit and dry overnight. So it's the next day here. As you can see, it's a little bit rainy. So I'm gonna go ahead, mount this up, pull all the tape off, and hopefully it's not still a lot of silver under there. It shouldn't be, but I'm gonna mount it up and then see how close it is. Also wanted to point out too, I think I mentioned we cranked the torsion bars, the torsion keys. The front end is sitting a little bit higher. It's noticeable because now the truck actually looks even. Damn, so I'm not gonna lie. When it was sitting over there and I kept looking back at the truck, I knew it wasn't gonna be perfect, but at a quick glance, it kind of looks factory. Like, especially if you're not paying attention or you're not super close. Damn, I mean, you might be able to tell on camera it's obviously not the same, but it's close. Let me put the bed liner on and then peel all the tape off and see what we're dealing with. Okay, bed liner part's back on. Now for the most exciting part, so just that part alone already looks sweet. Now I hope this masked off enough to where, like I said, the silver's not poking through. I mean, there's gonna be a couple small spots. I think up here is probably a good example. And if it wasn't raining its ass off right now, I would go around and just smooth this down, all the overspray. But let's just finish getting the rest of all this masking tape off. Damn, that is not bad. On camera, it's a little bit harder to tell, but that looks a lot more matte, whereas this is a lot more glossy. But honestly, I think that turned out amazing. And then, yeah, you can see that on camera. All this overspray. So I'm gonna end up sanding that down probably within the next day or two, as long as it's not weather like this. But yeah, that looks clean. And like I said too, it's definitely a 20 footer. I mean, realistically, once I sand off the overspray, it could be a 5 footer, truthfully. But yeah, that's all for that one, and hope you guys liked it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Oh my God.